Okay, so crypto crashed. Crypto crashed. I want to talk about what it means. I want to talk about how people can take advantage, what they should do, what they should know. So the first thing to know about the crypto crash, for those of you who don't know, crypto went from like, I don't know, 88,000. I think it went all the way down to like 62, maybe even lower. And this was over the course of like just a few days. It 100% crashed. In order to understand why it crashed, we need to understand a few things about the market so that we can then understand what to do about it. So the first thing that people need to understand about the crypto market is there are really two markets. Okay, you looking at what it went down to?
I was seeing what its highest was in the last 6 months.
It was like 100, and the highest was like
105.
105. But it came down.
Oh no, tremendously. You talk. I
The
just
only
want to
reason
get
I
my, I
even
want to get my numbers together before you start talking.
okay, there are really two markets, two crypto markets. Remember I said it's three Americas?
Yes.
Okay, so there's two markets that serve the three Americas. Okay, so for the most part, physical. There's the first market, which is physical crypto. There's no such thing as physical crypto, but like that's if you hold coin in your Coinbase wallet or whatever the other wallets are. Like you actually own a coin or a fraction of a coin. Okay. The other market is called the paper market. The paper market is like derivatives, futures, not the actual crypto itself, right? Derivative futures, and we're going to focus today on ETFs. Okay? ETFs. So most people, retail investors, when they wanted to buy crypto, not most, let me rephrase that. Not most. I don't know what the percentage is. But a lot of times when retail investors wanted to buy actual crypto or they wanted to participate in the crypto market, they would get an ETF. And for those of you who don't know what an ETF is, an exchange traded fund. An exchange traded fund is like a mutual fund, but it's traded on an exchange. Okay. It's a lot more liquid. And because it's a lot more liquid, the price can often be determined by supply and demand. All right. The way that they are set up is there is some sort of index, and the actual holder of the assets in the ETF is a trust, usually a trust. Okay. And the trust owns the asset, it owns the bundle, right? When people are selling, if they're selling the ETF, the trust has to sell the assets in it to reflect. Okay. So one of the things I saw online when all this was like, the sky is falling was like BlackRock, they're dumping shares of Bitcoin. And it's like, without even knowing all the details at that point, I was like, that is so misleading because BlackRock has dozens of funds, hundreds of funds could be, that have crypto in it, and each fund has its own mandate. And one fund could just be selling just because they have a floor. Like, hey, if the rule is, hey, if crypto, Bitcoin goes below this, we have to sell. Meanwhile, in another fund, they like, there's an acronym in crypto world, which is HODL, hold on for dear life. Like, hold your crypto for dear life. Okay. So when people sell their shares of the ETF, the fund or the trust has to liquidate them. So when we see BlackRock taking these big dumps, this is what people are seeing. Oh, there's a sell-off. So then it starts the death spiral. Okay? But the other version of America, guess what they're doing? You want to guess? You don't want to guess? Let me tell you. Why are you looking like that?
Oh, I thought you were asking them.
No,
So I
I'm
was just
asking
waiting for you
you.
to say it.
I'm
I'm
looking
like,
at you, though.
right during the downswing.
They're buying, but guess who's really buying? Sovereign wealth funds. So remember, dollar weekend. And I keep telling y'all that the New World Order, we're going to move away from fiat currency and into crypto. I want to put some things into perspective for people too. Like, I got somebody that follows me on Instagram. I don't know them, but some kind of way I have these more intimate conversations with them about the market over DMs. Like I'll post something and they'll comment and then I'll be like, well, what do you think about that? So we've been debating about the sell-off. This is just my conspiracy theory, right? All this is engineered. One thing, if you've been looking at the Epstein files, it is very sad. I cried for 2 days. This was the first day. That's another reason why I was in a really good mood, because I'm like, okay, I can emotionally handle this. Let me back up and talk about the Epstein files, and I'm gonna move forward back to crypto just a minute. I was really, really upset for a couple days, but I think at the end of the second day, there's a scripture in where it says that David strengthened himself in the Lord, right? And I feel like I had to strengthen myself in the Lord, because the scripture tells us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but evil principalities and rulers of high places. And so, like, okay, Nicole, you knew this. Not only did you know this, but what we're seeing in the files happened in Israel in the scripture. This is not the first time that this happened. This is not the first time that people who were associating themselves with Israel decided to worship Baal. Okay? So for those of you who take it for however you want to take it, but Epstein had a bank account called Baal. And they said he had a temple worshiping Baal there. And there's a lot of Baal and Moloch stuff going on, okay? This is not the first time that this happened. So I had to just like really pull it together, like, okay, God has seen this before. We're going to be okay. Not to mention like that we already know how this story already ends, right? Okay. So you take your emotions out of it, and if you look at the files, the interview that he did with Bannon, everything is engineered. Everything. So when I do this show, right? What I want you to look at this show is like, how do we decipher the agenda? Because I talked about this before. Capitalism is based on this idea of this invisible hand, and that we have free markets, but we don't have free markets. We probably never did. Maybe a long time ago. I'm gonna say probably ever. I don't know. So you gotta kind of like take a little bit of that and a little bit of this geopolitical stuff where like everything just being engineered. And so if we know that, hey, they're scrambling trying to account for crypto and GDP, that means that it's not going anywhere. If we have a very pro crypto government right now, and a lot of people didn't want to get in on it. Like, so if you go back and look at like Vanguard, Jamie Dimon, all of them, they didn't want to get in it. All of a sudden they changed their minds literally almost at the same time. So what does that say to me is they had a meeting. They had a meeting, and that's okay. Talk about the meeting when they set up the Federal Reserve, right? Like, y'all had a meeting, and then y'all was like, this is how this works. This is how we're going to control the money supply via crypto. This is how the technology works. So they explained it like, listen, y'all have to get on board. All right. So what does that mean? That means a lot of people, wealthy people who pull strings, they were late to the party. So if they was late to the party, they need to get in now. I don't want to get in at the price that it's at right now. Okay, this is me at running the meeting, okay? I'm pretending like I'm running a meeting. This is all hypothetical, y'all. Okay? This is me pretending like I'm running the meeting. All right, Jamie Dimon, Vanguard, and the likes. Listen, we're about to move from the banking system over to crypto. Y'all got to get on board. And they're arguing, no. Okay, let me show y'all the technology. This is how it works. And they scratching their head like, okay. All right, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to have a real live demonstration. we're going to show y'all how we can manipulate the price. So number one, if it don't work, you ain't got to get in. Tell your peoples they ain't got to get in. But if it do work, we're going to drive that price down. Tell them to get in then. And that is our demonstration. That's what I think happened. That's what I think is happening. All right? I'm going to be very honest with you. This is just is what it is. There is something in the, I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know. But I saw a clip where basically it looked like Jeffrey Epstein admitted to being the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto, the guy who created crypto. That it's really him. In the files. Is a clip.
First of all, I have to do my due diligence with these files because
I ain't logging on that site. Because let me tell you right now, everybody that log on to that site.
Oh no, they're not just like on CNN.com because I'm not giving nobody my information for these files.
No, you think they can't? Do you think they need your information to know that you went to the files?
Mm-mm.
Do you think they need your information to know you went to the files?
At this point, they don't need my consent for too much of anything.
Right. Y'all not gonna have Nicole. You went to the files and no, I didn't. I just was consuming internet that y'all put in front of me.
Right. I'm gonna consume it on the CNNs, the Reddits, the YouTubes of the world, but I won't be personally.
Somebody made a website.
I'm sure.
No, hold on. Somebody made a website that mimics what Gmail looks like. It's called jmail.com. And it is almost like you logged in and you're him. And so you can see all the conversations. You can explore it. Look at the flight logs. Look at what you ordered on Amazon. Everything. That's crazy, ain't it? How did they do it that fast? I don't know. One other thing I want to say before I talk about what we can do about this is they had like some type of committing meeting or something, some government official meeting. And I think someone from Congress asked our Treasury Secretary if we were going to bail out crypto. And so he's like, no, this is right when the market dropped. And that, to me, that conversation was so engineered when I saw the clip. I was like, what would make this guy say this? That question is so left. This must be something that y'all arguing about over the Clarity Act. Not to mention, it was planting a seed. Remember, I keep telling you, they're going to control the money supply using crypto. And so they need, that to me, when he had that conversation, it was presenting this idea that the government should be allowed to control crypto as means of bailouts when we have these sharp drops. Because in the early days, we're going to have these sharp drops because it's kind of speculative until people get a full buy-in. It's speculative. There is no underlying asset. The only way that we get a full buy-in with crypto is if it replaces our currency, like it's a major currency. That's the only way. And so for him to say, yeah, are you going to bail it out? It was like, y'all must be arguing about this and y'all already decided, because they're finalizing the Clarity Act. For those of you who don't know, the Clarity Act is the act that outlines how crypto is treated in this country. And they've been working on it for a long time, going back and forth about what the government can and cannot do. And what we're going to get, the Clarity Act is probably going to be, if it was prior to Trump, I would say like, oh, this will be version 1 of version 5, right?
That's interesting.
But now that we have Donald Trump and he is just like making big changes asexually, his whole, everybody, right, a part of that whole 2025, Project 2025 nonsense that people didn't think existed, now it's happening. Is like, oh, these things are happening. So this, it could just be one step, but the whole point that I'm making is in the Clarity Act, I bet you it's going to outline, it's basically going to outline as crypto as being the way, how they control the money supply. Bailout? What are you talking about, a bailout? What would make you even say that? That is so crazy.
As soon as you said it, my brain started just percolating for a few different reasons. Because you have to think about it from the perspective of, although bailouts aren't necessarily connected to FDIC institutions, you have to think about the fact of crypto would be so non-regulated to where the banks would have less responsibility for markets crashing.
They're taking the. Remember, the banking system is going to be replaced by crypto. This is in Nicole's
No,
world.
I'm not.
Hold on.
I agree.
Right. This is in Nicole's world. Okay. They haven't sent it yet. This is why the banks and also the large players like Vanguard. Vanguard is not a bank. It's a mutual fund. JP Morgan is a bank. All right. This is why they're all of a sudden on board because, hey, maybe you're not going to use the banking system where we borrow and on top of borrow, on top of borrow. Maybe we're not going to use that, but we still need to be able to control the money supply. Okay? So when they said, are we going to bail it out? Again, yeah, no, banks couldn't control it. They need to still be able to control the money supply. They don't need to do anything. They feel like they should be able, this is just how governments are set up in the world right now. Like you can't have like a 100% free market. What are you talking about? We don't have no control over that. We can't control anything. We can't control the money in our pockets. We can't control the money in your pockets with that. And so just the fact that it's almost like me saying like, we are friends. I'm going to give this a really weird, creepy analogy. But you and I are 100% friends. If I just one day text you and be like, Dom, you think it's appropriate to date people right now? That's such a left question. Right. No, shut up. But that's what I'm saying. It was even to get it in the underlying joke. Like now I'm planting the seed that you can't date. Now we gonna start dating. You know what I'm saying? I'm straight. We straight, y'all, by the way. We're straight. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We're straight. Just want to make sure we're clear. But do you understand what I'm saying? Like me just coming out and say, just one day I'll call you up. It's my mouse. Dom, you think it's appropriate that you date men? Now you've opened up a conversation. I wouldn't even think. Right. No one asked a question about bailout with crypto. What? Why would you say that?
But from my perspective is I think it's to continue to plant the seed that crypto is not a safe currency.
I don't think that's the seed. That's absolutely not the seed.
That's to me personally. This is my perspective. I think they are still waiting for more institutional buy-in from a crypto perspective before it is something that the everyday user is jumping.
They don't need institutional buy-in.
That's
your perspective. They don't need institutional buy-in. They need mass market adoption. They need everyday people to buy in.
Well, technically, let's look at the timeline. Like they made this major announcement that we were going to be moving more into crypto. They have this conversation with the vanguards of the world, and literally in December, Vanguard decides that they're going to allow crypto EFTs on their platform. That was literally less than 90 days ago. Mm-hmm. From my perspective, it's like we just need a little bit more groundwork from an institutional perspective, and then it's guns a-blazing.
Okay. They don't need institutional, but they already bought in the institutions that they need. You got Vanguard, you got BlackRock, you got JP Morgan. I know they're in. They're in. They're already in.
So from my perspective, conversations like that, from my perspective, are to continue to have the novice purchasers of crypto still on the fence, thinking that it's not a good currency.
Right. You said novice. You said institutions, or you said novice purchasers.
I said it's both. I think it's to get more institutional buy-in, which I think they already are well on their way, but it's also to get more novice consumers to distrust crypto.
They want institution to do it, but they don't want consumers to
personally
distrust
do
it.
not think that they want a huge consumer buy-in from a crypto perspective
Not yet.
right now.
Yeah, not
And I
yet.
think little sound bites like that continue to plant the seed in their head that this is still not a safe option for them as individuals.
Not yet because the institutions need to buy more at a cheap price.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
So I
yeah.
think it's both and. I think they want more institutional buy-in, but I also think they don't want little mom
They
and
want
pop
they
to
want cuz
be in crypto.
they
yet.
want everybody right now like the price drop. That's such a huge that's such a huge tool because most people are when the price drops, they get fearful and they sell, right? They do the opposite. Okay? So it's like, yeah, we need the everyday person to sell so that the institutions can buy.
Yeah, I'm just waiting
So
for like next week. I foresee there being headlines of BlackRock getting back in at a massive discount.
it's not them. They're in. It's the ETFs. So it's the ETF. The only way that they'll replenish those positions that they sold is if the average everyday person goes and buys the ETFs or an institution goes and buys it. I'm saying all this to say don't pay that no mind because those sell-offs was from the ETFs being sold. They have to sell off the position because the ETFs are being sold. I don't think it's not going to be next week. Give it like anywhere from 3 months to a year as to how this is going to play out. That's my opinion. So what does that mean for anyone watching this channel? My advice, okay, entertainment purposes advice is to just slowly dollar cost average. Just set it and forget it. Buy $100 a week. Look at what you waste your money on, dumb stuff, and then just cut it back, match it, whatever. Just dollar cost average, and don't pay it no mind. Like, look at it like, oh, okay. But like at some point, you're going to go pull up to something somewhere, and they're going to be like, we only accept Bitcoin. You're going to need that Bitcoin. Thank God you dollar cost average or whatever. But this is your insurance policy. Crypto's not going anywhere at all. So if you know it's not going anywhere, then don't pay this no mind. One other piece of advice about it is one popular strategy is to borrow and, pay whatever interest rate, and then in hopes that you'll be able to earn a spread on whatever you invest in. Crypto is too volatile. It's always been volatile. That's not going to dissipate just yet. It's too volatile. If you're leveraging yourself to buy crypto, just my advice. Just chill out on doing it. I guess I want to talk about. I guess I can talk about the housing market, but this is fucking bleak.
I'm like, I don't know if much has changed since last Friday.
No, more terrible news that supports what the hell I've been saying.
Well, maybe end on that. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like I said last week, I just want to throw this in there.
Housing demand indicators weakening. Buyers gaining leverage. Redfin data shows pending home sales down 3.3% year over year. Longer days on the market, more sellers listing, while active listings and buyer interest trends suggest buyers start to negotiate more. So it's a buyer's market.
Maybe it's time to buy something.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you think. What you think is going to happen at the end of the cycle.
But compared to what prices were in 2020, I would take the super high interest rates right now. I know people who were literally paid almost $200 over asking for property during COVID because it was a seller's market.
I mean, it all depends on the deal itself. Again, if you're an investor, you're probably you need to consider your rehab costs, right? The issue is labor and materials is high.
Giraffes, you know what?
Right. So like, again, your margins are thinning out.
Yeah. That would be interesting to really take a look at understanding the market a little bit better to understand the entry points. It may be, you may see the market where it looks like it's a buyer's world right now. However, is it a buyer's world from a wholesaling perspective? Is it a buyer's market from a luxury flip perspective? Is it, you know what I mean? Like, is it a buyer's market across the field? Which I personally don't think it is.
Is it a buyer's market from a wholesaling perspective?
I'm just saying there's so many different entry points to getting into real estate. To your point, if I wanted to get into apartment complex, I could get into a private fund. But because there's so many entry points to home ownership or just getting into property ownership period, are we saying that it being a buyer's market is across the entire industry, or are we seeing it where it's more of a buyer's market in one lane over the other?
Well, that's why I keep saying, I mean, anything outside of ultra luxury, yes, it's a buyer's market. If you can afford it. Because stuff is sitting on the market. Here, look, independent housing commentary shows rising apartment vacancies and concessions rising across new buildings, with construction costs up 3.8% year over year. Again, it just reaffirming what I'm saying. We have a affordability issue. I was just driving in here thinking, I don't know, I was just pondering, thinking about how, like, this whole narrative around the fact that there's a housing shortage, and there may be a housing shortage in some markets. Like, don't get it twisted. But we don't have a housing shortage crisis. We have an affordability. It is really bad. Mm-hmm. Every single signal points to that. It is really bad. Like, I'm just going to double down on everything I'm saying. If you're an agent, figure out your exit, because in order to make this market work, things have to, so you have these natural market forces. Agents' fees are going to have to end up getting squeezed out. Every single fee is going to get squeezed out. Flippers, that margin that flippers make, squeeze real tight in order to make supply meet demand. They don't have the money. They just don't have the money. This is crazy. Independent housing commentary shows rising apartment vacancies. I thought we had a housing crisis. So now apartment vacancies are rising? I got to do research. I got to dig into this. And concessions rising across new buildings. So when you move into a new building, they're giving way more concessions, like an extra month free, extra this, extra that, extra this, which basically is just, those are just ways to make your T12 or your rent roll look better. But at the end of the day, hey, if you're giving off a whole extra month for free as a concession, that's like what, 7-8% decline in your income. Or it's the same thing, a 7-8% decline in rent rates. With construction costs up 3.8% year over year. If you're a real estate investor and you're trying to figure out, like, you think you by yourself pulling your hair out, you're not. This is crazy.
Yeah, the real play is to start a construction company at this point. That's another
No, you ain't pulling your hair out. Because your costs are going to keep going up and up and up. No. That's unless you're doing luxury. Unless you're doing luxury. The rules are different there. They're not playing the same rules. So what's the big takeaways for this week? Dollar cost average in crypto. Buy the dip, y'all. Mm-hmm. Not advice.
Just a theory.
Just a theory. Buy the dip. Crypto is not going away. It's not going away. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give you a big range as to when you'll see the benefit. It can be anywhere from 3 months all the way up to 3 years. Either way, 3 years is a pretty short time horizon. All this is being engineered so rich people's friends can get in because they didn't buy in on the first time. That's why I'm just.
Where's the confetti? Where's the confetti?
I said that. That was what I said.
That's exactly my point. They're literally trying to make novice people disbelieve
so that the price can stay down.
In your ear to their homies, like Nancy Pelosi, because girl, you stay on my nerves. But that's neither here nor there. They tell their insider scoop friends, this is the time.
I also think apparently this is whispered down the lane. This is conspiracy. That when they created crypto, they created a backdoor to actually control the price.
You're gonna make my armpits sweat. Yes, yes, 1,000%. Do I still think it's not a viable currency that we shouldn't play with? No, I definitely think we have to get in there. But to your point, this is not financial advice. This is just my theory and what I'm doing personally. I'm not putting more into Bitcoin than I'm afraid to lose. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put all my eggs in the Bitcoin basket. However, I do know some people who have, and it's paid off tremendously. So you got to figure out what your poison is. So maybe you want to go the crypto route.
I want.
Maybe some people want to get into private equity. I say you need to diversify, diversify, diversify. Put a little money in private equity, a little money in crypto, a little money in some stocks.
Let me also say this too. Right now, before the Clarity Act comes out, let me tell you what I've noticed, specifically with crypto, because there is no clarity around how it's treated. Is it a security? Is it not? There is a lot of gray area. People who are at these tables when they're making these decisions, like if you take nothing away from the Epstein files, take away that there are agendas that are being set on a higher level. None of this is free. Like the markets don't move freely, okay? With that being said, there are people, pay attention to me here. There are people who are at these tables, at these conversations, specifically around crypto, who then turn around and make faceless AI YouTube content, or they start really expensive newsletters and they give all the details away. So what you need to do is go specifically with crypto. Go and find the best faceless content creator. And it's a ticking time. Like they're doing great because they're making a ton of money, being faceless, nameless, all the things. And they're not going to get any repercussions because the Clarity Act hasn't come out yet. This was the whole point of me doing this. This was the whole. I was building up to this. This was the whole point of me doing this episode because I wanted to say that. So like, think about like there's a couple months ago. I don't know if y'all remember. There was a big sell-off in crypto, and like the day before, somebody sold, or I can't remember. They took advantage of it like timely, and they became a billionaire like overnight. It was some ridiculous amount of money. I don't know if y'all remember this, and it was very evident that someone's at the table, and we don't know who that person is. It's all anonymous. All anonymous, because with crypto, is there even insider trading? Can you insider trade? There's no such thing. It has not been clarified yet, y'all. The Clarity Act has not come out yet. So go and find your favorite faceless AI crypto page. Like it's going to be an AI voice, AI face. That seem like they know some stuff. Because listen, yeah, they just seem like they just know a little bit too much. Hold on for dear life and know that it's going to go away like overnight. Like that. As soon as it becomes illegal. As soon as they put out the Clarity Act. And
My
then
perspective is the people and the friends of the friends are trying to get in and get as much holding and positions in crypto before the Clarity Act goes into effect.
I know. This is what I'm saying. This was my whole
I'm
point
just
of
saying
making this
I'm
episode.
agreeing. I'm just saying I'm agreeing.
This is my whole point.
I agree.
This is my whole point. Some people are mortgaging. I want to say this other thing. Some people are mortgaging their house right now
I thought about it.
to buy crypto at the dip. Buy the dip.
I thought about what don't I need? What could I liquidate? I thought about it. And if I had to choose between Google stock, Apple, and buying crypto, I cannot decide. So I don't got no money to pull from nowhere right now.
I'm gonna give you another play too, because everything on this channel is all about alternative investing, private equity. Mm-hmm. If you decide to go deep down the rabbit hole, and like really, really learn crypto, from this point on, which is not complicated. Think about starting a fund. Think about starting a fund. Like if you really know start to really know your stuff, think about starting a fund.
That's why I'm here. I'm learning so I can get
Think
better.
about once you know, you got to know your stuff though. You got to know your stuff.
Or just join one.
Or just join our fund. We don't do crypto. We do apartment buildings and assisted living facilities. So if you are interested, let me know down in the link. If you want to get 20% return on your money, 1.5x equity multiple, investing with a trusted source, let me know down in the comments or just email me. I'll put my email down below and we can have a whole conversation. You can explore all that stuff. If you just want to learn how to invest just in general, like the 1% and join a community of 1% investors, right? People who really about this life, join my 7 Hidden Wealth Keys webinar. Or you know what? I'm going to try something different. Don't join a webinar. A lot of y'all have. What I want you to do is join our community. It's not expensive. It's very inexpensive. I hired a coach, by the way. I hired a whole team of coaches, and they think I should raise the price. And so after they get done digging into me, I'm going to raise the price. But if you come in now, you'll be locked in. So we had a meeting earlier today, and we couldn't, it's almost like a therapy session. We couldn't go any deeper. And they were like, oh, yeah, we're going to raise this price. So I'm letting y'all know that right now. Right now, it's only $97 a month. All right. I love y'all. Just my thoughts. So, They can't see.
Okay.
They can't see.
I'm giving
You seen a whole full show?
Just a peekaboo.
Kitty cat.
Make sure you wasn't giving
Let's
it
go, little
to
kitty
YouTube.
cat. He don't want you anymore.
I cannot deal with you.